Zlatan Ibrahimović was born on October 3, 1981, in Malmö, Sweden, in the tough district of Rosengård, an area known for poverty, crime, and immigrant struggles. His father, Shefik, was a Bosnian Muslim who came to Sweden during the Yugoslav wars. His mother, Jurka, a Catholic Croat from the same region, worked cleaning houses. Their marriage fell apart when Zlatan was still young. The divorce was ugly. He stayed mostly with his father, who coped with the pain through alcohol, and whose fridge was usually empty except for a single beer. Life was unstable, volatile, and harsh, but one thing never changed. Zlatan had a ball, and Zlatan had fire. He was skinny, wild, and always in trouble. He stole bikes, skipped school, cursed teachers, and threw punches when insulted. He wasn't born a golden child. He was seen as a problem, angry, uncontrollable, arrogant. But there was something else burning in him. In his neighborhood, fighting back was survival. On the pitch, he didn't just play, he fought. He dribbled with fury, shot with venom, and moved like someone who knew no one would hand him anything unless he took it. He joined the youth academy of Malmö FF and was nearly kicked out multiple times for bad behavior. But the coaches couldn't ignore his raw talent. He could juggle the ball endlessly, had freakish balance, long legs that danced like a ballet dancer's, and a mentality that dared to humiliate opponents rather than simply beat them. He was an enigma, uncoachable in some ways, unstoppable in others. By 17, he debuted for Malmö's senior team. By 19, he was signed by Ajax. The Dutch press didn't understand him. His accent was foreign. His attitude was bold. He spoke of being the best, even though he hadn't proved it yet. But Zlatan didn't care. He didn't want to fit in. He wanted to dominate. Under Ronald Koeman at Ajax, he matured into a lethal striker. He scored goals that made defenders freeze. Back heels, step-overs, long-distance missiles. One goal, where he danced through 6 NX Breda defenders before calmly slotting the ball in, became an instant classic. When the fans shouted his name, he didn't thank them. He expected it. Confidence wasn't a performance for him, it was his armor. From Ajax, he moved to Juventus. Italy was tactical, disciplined, defensive, and Zlatan was a disruptor. He battled with defenders, argued with coaches, and scored with elegance. He helped Juve win back-to-back league titles, but the Calciopoli scandal in 2006 changed everything. Juventus were stripped of their trophies and relegated. Zlatan refused to go down with them. He joined Inter Milan and immediately became the centerpiece of their domination. Under José Mourinho, he reached new levels. He wasn't just a goal scorer, he was a force of nature. He won 3 consecutive Serie A titles, scored screamers, created out of nothing, and elevated Inter to serial winners. Mourinho once said, "If Zlatan is not happy, no one is happy. If Zlatan is happy, he's unstoppable." But Zlatan craved more, not just trophies, but spotlight. He joined Pep Guardiola's Barcelona in 2009 in a high-profile swap with Samuel Eto'o. The move was supposed to be the final step toward global superstardom. And for a while it worked. He scored 21 goals in his first season, including a winner in El Clásico. But behind the scenes, it was chaos. Guardiola demanded silence, discipline, and tactical obedience. Zlatan brought noise, ego, and spontaneity. They clashed. Zlatan later said Guardiola spoke to him only twice that entire year. The tension boiled until he exploded in the locker room, throwing furniture and storming out. He left after 1 season. He landed at Milan and became a god once again. He dragged them to a league title, scoring vital goals and mentoring younger players with tough love. He told them, "I don't need you to pass me the ball, I'll find it and score." His belief in himself was so complete, so irrational, that it bent reality. He made defenders back off before he touched the ball. He made journalists doubt what they'd seen. He didn't ask for respect, he demanded it. Then came Paris. PSG made them their king in 2012, and Zlatan repaid them with 156 goals in 180 games, countless trophies, and a new sense of identity. Before him, PSG was just a French club. After him, it was a brand. He scored 4 goals in one match against Anderlecht. He netted a 30-yard bicycle kick against England while wearing Sweden's armband. He once said, "You're watching the Eiffel Tower play football." He wasn't joking. At 35, most strikers wind down. Zlatan signed for Manchester United and led them in goals. He helped them win the Europa League and the League Cup. He scored 28 goals in his first season. Then his knee exploded in a freak injury. Doctors said he might never play again. Zlatan said, "Lions don't recover like humans." And he came back, not only to play, but to dominate in Major League Soccer with LA Galaxy. There, he scored 53 goals in 58 appearances, including a debut goal from 40 yards. He said, "I came, I saw, I conquered. Now go back to watching baseball." In 2020, at the age of 38, he returned to Milan. While younger strikers faded, he kept scoring. He wasn't as fast, but he was smarter. He bullied defenders with positioning, powered in headers, and led with sheer presence. He was a spiritual leader, a mentor, a monster. Even injured, he trained harder than players 10 years younger. He played until he was 41, retiring only after his body finally refused to keep up with his spirit. Off the pitch, Zlatan was a storm. He spoke in third person. He mocked journalists. He gave quotes that bordered on myth. "I am not a man, I am Zlatan." But behind the arrogance was clarity. He knew what he had survived. He had clawed his way out of Rosengard with rage and brilliance. He had broken through stereotypes, language barriers, and prejudice. He had carried teams, resurrected clubs, and inspired millions. He was never meant to be here. They told him he was too wild, too arrogant, too much. But he became more than a footballer. He became a story of self-belief, of reinvention, of defiance. He played for Ajax, Juventus, Inter, Barca, Milan, PSG, United, and Galaxy. He scored over 560 goals, won over 30 trophies, and yet was never fully accepted into the polite halls of Ballon d'Or royalty. And he didn't care. He was never after their gold. He was after their fear. He played with scars. He spoke with fire. He lived like a warrior. And when he finally walked away, football didn't just lose a striker. It lost one of its most unforgettable gladiators. He was not like the others. He was Zlatan, and he made sure the world would never forget that name.